Let's do the compass. Let's make it face north. The red bit's got to face north. Let's go around a bit further. And there we go. Let's do Venus. All right. So Venus, you did the 15th of March, 2025. Sadly, if you would have done it 3 days later, you wouldn't have seen Venus on the 18th of March. And guess how many days Venus goes missing? No one knows why or where it went. Just goes missing for 10 days until the 28th of March.
Did you say you couldn't see Venus the 18th of March? That's funny because Stellarium shows you could, and I'm pretty sure I did.
Physics and logic on a level supreme. It's a curved reality, splitting flurf dreams.
So it seems Freddo's done a response video on TikTok about the things I brought up. Yeah, it's awesome. He is so triggered. So let's check it out and see what he has to say. Let's break it down and show what a lying, grifting piece of crap he is once again.
Welcome to Freddo's Common Sense. This is where we do common sense, not the other science bullshit. All right, this for you, UK curious. Oh my God, so you got a hard on for me. Now we know why the curious comes in. Sham well. Can't understand fucking word you're saying, but let's go with it.
Oh well, Freddo, I didn't know you had those kind of feelings for me. I mean, obviously you seem to have a bit of a fantasy. I don't swing that way though, unfortunately. So I'm sorry, but I'm sure you can find something on internet that probably please you. I wouldn't tell your missus though, with her being pregnant, to get a bit hormonal and she may not be appreciated. And as for not understanding a word somebody says, dude, I think you need to check yourself. Oh, fucking hell. I had to put the freaking subtitles on and like, kind of watch a few times just to get around to what you said, you rambling piece of crap. But hey, whatever. You want to go for the personal attacks. That shows just you've already lost. But hey, let's crack on. Let's break down your video.
With it anyway. All right, here's your compass. All right, I'll turn the camera around. I've got two things for you, compass and Venus for you, right, mate? So, I might prove that the sun is rising from right there, okay?
Is it? Because I don't see the sun there. And in fact, the other videos, you never actually show sunrise whatsoever. You never actually show it rising. You never show it like, just like halfway above the horizon or just coming above the horizon. So, yeah. You're a lying piece of shit, so, and we can see this. But let's watch as you use your compass on your metal railing.
Right there. All right, let's do the compass. Let's make it face north. The red bit's got to face north. Let's go around a bit further. And there we go. There's north. See it? North.
Oh, did you notice something? Look at how the compass is just before he touches the railing. Look how he touches it. Something's being manipulated here again.
It's right on north, mate. Look where we look up. No way. Oh, no way. That's where the sun...
Let me see here. There's a compass here. Let's set it north. There. Now, I'm going to do what Freddo did. Oh, yeah. Let's set it on a metal object. No way. No way. A metal object manipulates a compass. No way. No way. Oh, no. No way. Freddo's lying. No way. You've been caught again. Caught again. You lying fucking little Wally. Busted.
And you can check on my proof. Sun's coming up from, mate. Not southeast, not southwest, not south at all. At all. Not south. And then it will go. So there it is there. Oh, I guess there it is there. Right. And then it will go over there. And guess where that is? It's mate. South. That's south. Fuck. It's dumb as dog shit. These people. All you do is look at stuff and think it's hilarious. Alright. You sure about that? You sure about that? That's why?
Nice. That metal railing there will actually affect the orientation of the compass, because compasses actually have a small little magnet in them that is actually drawn towards magnetic field lines of the Earth. Also, if you probably noticed, your compass is weighted on one side compared to the northern hemisphere, and that's because obviously the southern pole, you're in the southern hemisphere, and so actually pulled down towards the southern pole. But you know what? I know you say this, but yet Freddo's never shown an actual sunrise. He always shows the sun was already well above the horizon, and this one here is actually showing the sun above him. So once in a while, once again he's just manipulating and hiding different facts. But that's okay, Freddo, because I have you covered. I have found a fellow countryman who did time lapses of the sun rising and the sun setting, something that's impossible to fly Earth, and he actually measured the angles. Now, he did it in January. This is January 2018. He did this, and he shows with a definitive proof that the Earth, in fact, does rise and set. Rises south of east and sets south of west. Let's watch and see and enjoy it. By the way, the YouTube channel's name is Wade's Underworld. Check him out. I'll put a link in the description.
Hello, I'm Wade and welcome to the Underworld. This video is to show the position of the sun during sunrise, midday and sunset from my location in Eastern Australia. Here's the iPad currently recording the sunrise time-lapse for the video. Here's a quick little pan around of the position I'm in for the sunrise. It's a gravel car park in a place called Boat Harbour. It's on the ocean side of where I live. It's about a 10-minute drive from my home in Nelson Bay. And here's the exact position of myself and the camera during the sunrise time-lapse. This is the view from the camera on the iPad set up for the sunrise time-lapse. As we can see, the camera is pointing at about 115 degrees, a little bit east of southeast, so we can say east is about here. I will do a follow-up of this video and go more into depth about the locations and talk about why I see the sun south of the Tropic of Capricorn during sunrise and sunset. Here's a clue, it's because the Earth is a globe. I made this video because there's a lot of people that actually think this isn't happening. But this video is just to prove it's actually happening. Here's the official time and date of the sunrise, the 12th of January 2019. This whole video was filmed all on the same day. This is a screenshot from the Sun Surveyor app which shows the direction the sun is rising from my location. Notice how the sun is rising in line with the edge of these rocks here. And there's the edge of those same rocks in the center of the shot. I've been waiting all year to make this video to show how the sun rises and sets south of my location during summer and how the sun still curves around my northern sky. Okay, here's the sunrise time-lapse. I recorded the time-lapse in sections because the iPad sometimes stuffs up if it records too long, hence the cuts and transitions, and it got a little windy. But this clearly shows the sun rising from a southeasterly location and heading towards my northern sky. And the atmosphere seems to be having no effect on the sun's size or location. The flat Earth idea of a personal atmospheric dome would be completely distorting the sun. While the time-lapse was recording, I walked out here on this small headland and did some footage and photos because, well, it's beautiful. This is the midday footage. This is the midday screenshot from the Sun Surveyor app from my location. I did the midday footage in my backyard, so I'm not going to show the exact position for obvious reasons, but my yard is still pretty close to that green location marker in center of screen. But this still shows that the sun has curved around into my northern sky as predicted in the Globe Earth model. I made a crude sundial, not really to show time, but to show the sun's position. I set out north as close as I could. It's still the same day, Saturday, January the 12th, 2019. We have daylight saving time here, so during summer, solar noon is at 1 o'clock. Okay, midday time lapse, a go. Now that looks like evidence of the sun moving through my northern sky. And just to prove that my rod is vertical, here's a little pan around and one final view to show the sun is in my northern sky. There we go. I know the angle is high, but the sun is in my northern sky. And here's the setup for sunset. A nice view from the lookout to the southwest. Here's my exact location. It's a little sort of secret spot that the tourists don't really go. There's the iPad midway through recording the sunset time-lapse, and here's a quick pan around to show where I am. There's all the tourists over there. Here's the Sun Surveyor screenshot that shows the sun setting at about 243 degrees, or a little bit west of southwest. The communication towers were playing havoc with the phone's compass, so I used the ball compass here to show where west is, but even it was having a little bit of trouble. Here's the view from the iPad just getting ready to start the time-lapse. Still the same day, Saturday, January the 12th, 2019, at about 7 PM. Whoa, that sun's getting close. One last check with the compass in front of the iPad. It shows that west is about here. But just quickly, here's a photo I did from my house a few days earlier. This shows where the sun is, and anyway, you get the picture. Okay, let's do this. 3, 2, 1, go. Now we can see the sun in the southern hemisphere is moving down to the left or south, and definitely not moving to the north like the flat earth map shows it would. See the sun's glare get smaller then as it went behind those clouds? Weird, huh? And there goes most of the glare, and bye-bye setting sun. Now, while the sun was setting, I zoomed in with my new camera and got some pretty cool footage that clearly shows the sun appearing to go down and definitely not getting smaller as it sets. I had to do a little camera adjustment here, but I'm pretty happy with the footage the camera was able to get. Another beautiful globe Earth sunset.
Oh, no way. You mean somebody in Australia showed definitive proof that the sun rises south of east and sets south of west? No way, Freddo. No way. Oh, you've been cooked so bad. Oh, you know, really what you should do is just stop making videos of me, because I'm just having way too much fun. Oh, dumbest dog shit, you. You're so fucking stupid, Freddo. It's so fucking hilarious. Your wife's definitely getting cucked by a freaking emu. Oh dear, Freddo. That was a complete destruction of your whole entire narrative of where the sun rises and sets, done by a fellow countryman. Good job, Chief. You've just been debunked. Again, you're welcome. Welcome to the globe.
Mr. Hard On for me. Alright.
Gee, Freddo seems to be obsessed with my manhood. Freddo, I'm not like that, buddy. I'm sorry, big boy. It's not happening. You're just going to have to find somebody else. I think Angels of Light's into that. I'll go check him out.
Alright, here we go for... Oh, hold on for Venus. Let's do Venus. Alright, so Venus, you did the 15th of March, 2025. Sadly, if you would have done it 3 days later, you wouldn't have seen Venus on the 18th of March. And guess how many days Venus goes missing? No one knows why or where it went. Just goes missing for 10 days until the 28th of March. Fucking hilarious. Goes missing only for 10 days. And then...
You're wrong.
You're so wrong.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
You sure about that, Freddo? Are you positive about that? Look, Buttercup, I don't know if you know this, but like I said, I took pictures of Venus around that time. And you know what? I actually sent the final image to my phone. And guess what date? Let me show you. That's right, Chief. The 25th of March is when I sent this to my phone, dated. Which means I did this a few days before this and sent it to myself. So, yeah, you've just been debunked again.
And then we see it with good visibility. Prior to that, we see it with great visibility. You can check timeanddate.com. Alright, so guess when we don't see Venus again? This whole year, we don't see Venus again. We see Venus, sorry, for the whole year, we see Venus until the 28th of December. 28th of December, I think it goes missing to the 13th of January. 15 days, oh, it's too close to the sun, it's too close to the sun. Okay, so Venus can fit into the sun 1.1 million times. For today's experiment, I have an olive. Nice olive too, by the way, Sicilian olives. Alright, this is my sun. Obviously, that only fits in like about 80 times, 90 times, 100 times. So this has got to be fucking enormous, right? Okay, so then we're going to put Venus beside the sun, right? And then you are going to be UK curious. We know why you're UK curious, don't we, UK curious? I saw you holding a cat. Alright, let's...
Wow, so there's all sorts of things going on here. A lot of projection from Freddo. And what was me the fact of my cat suddenly jumping up my arms have anything to do with it? Oh, I know. Jealous. Freddo's jealous because, well, he doesn't get any pussy cat, does he? No, he doesn't get any at all. I think she's been holding out on him, and this is why Freddo's so stressed and so angry. He's definitely triggered. I've definitely triggered him in this.
Let's do it. Alright, so there it is there. There's the, that's going to be you, UK. So in the morning, when you call it the morning star, let's go with the morning star for now.
Wow, those distances look so to scale. Yeah, I mean, it looks like that olive and that lime are pretty much not very far at all. I mean, not to scale at all. How about we try a model to scale, Freddo? Oh yeah, you flat earthers struggle with scale, don't you? It's just too scary to think of all those big numbers. Makes you so scared you tend to run away and shout "nah" as you plug your ears, close your eyes, and dig your heads in the sand. Aw, poor Freddo. He's so scared.
And the evening star. So when you visually see Venus in the morning at 5 a.m., whatever time it is that you see Venus, right? You see it, right? 5 a.m., we see it at 5:30 here. There it is there, right? 12 hours later, you are facing a completely different direction. You are facing here, 12 hours. It's just basic common sense. Forget your stellarium, forget your bullshit. That is basic common sense if you're on a globe. 12 hours later, you are facing another way, right? You can't see through the sun to see Venus at 5 p.m., which we do. We see it at 4 p.m., okay? So we can't see through the sun because we're facing here in our peripheral vision. Obviously, you don't play sport because peripheral vision is a pretty big part of, you know, any kind of sporting venture, right?
And this is where, obviously, you're either being disingenuous with your scale or you don't understand scale, because this is where scale matters. All that stuff is far too close. And you don't understand the rotation of the Earth, nor do you understand that the scale of how much further the Earth is out from the Sun, how much further out than Venus is, because where you have Venus is probably where Mercury is, probably even closer to Mercury. So move all that out further, and then you'll see how the scale works. As for me not playing sports, dude, I've been playing sports all my life. I've been doing martial arts since I was 6, 7 years old. I played American football. I played soccer. I played baseball. So shut up about that. I know all about freaking that. I do MMA now. So yeah, I know all about what you're talking about. But you keep coping if that helps you, you know, make you feel better. It's okay, Buttercup. I understand. It's really hard to have your narrative crushed the way it's being crushed right now, and it has done since all my other videos. But you keep going, Freddo. It's fun to watch. But yeah, Stellarium is a model that works. I've used this several times. I've been using this for over a year. It always shows me with the orbits where everything is in the night sky, and has worked perfectly every single time. And millions of other people use Stellarium as well. It's one of the well-trusted astro apps that show everything where it should be. So I'm going to trust a thing that, you know, works, and not your stupid model with your lime, your olive, and your basketball that's completely out of scale. Because obviously, you know, you're a flat earther and you don't understand basic physics.
Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so there you go. So you can't see Venus at all. It would actually have to fly around the fucking sun really quickly to be there. Or is it just on a flat plane that every 12 hours that it just comes back around? It's attached to the first.
Now, he cut it off, not me. Yeah, so it's every 12 hours, but except for the fact that Venus moves. You can see it. It's in different positions. So how does that work on your magical dome? Also, the fact is that Southern Star Trails in Australia, where Freddo lives, falsifies the firmament flat dome thing, because the only way that would happen if you had the dome was that the stars are going past you like that really fast. And then as you go up, you see it going one rotation, one way. So either clockwise or counterclockwise. So as you come down, you just see them going past you and just streaking past you. So star rotations in Australia, where Freddo lives, falsifies the firmament flat dome thing, as well as the fact that this never been observed. We don't know the firmament, never can't prove it, never seen it, because it doesn't exist. It's a magical thing that flat earthers bring up. They think that we live under a dirt pizza covered by a salad bowl, apparently. But where Freddo lives, that is easily falsified. So, yeah, like I said, I asked Freddo, point to me where if you can see Polaris from where he is, and he's ran away from that because you'll never see it, because can't see it, because there's something in the way called the globe. Yeah.
just keeps coming around every 12 hours. That makes a bit more sense, but let's go.
It doesn't, because like Freddo said, there's certain times where we can't see Venus because it's behind the sun, as well as you can see the different phases of Venus, kind of like how you see phases of the moon, where others see a sliver to work into very half, come around to the side, where we'll see like a 3/4 to almost a full, but then I mean, we don't see it for a bit, it goes behind the sun, comes to the side, we'll see a quarter, we'll see 3/4, half, and then it goes down like a quarter and then a sliver. Like see my video there, my picture there, you can see where it's half. How does that work with the firmament? If why is it that Venus only be lit up at certain points? We have phases of Venus. Explain that using your firmament, Freddo. Oh no, wait, you can't, because there is no dome, and you can't explain it on your flat, tardy dirt pizza.
Quickly, let's keep going on with this. All right, here we go. So we don't see Venus, I think it's for 276 days. Sorry, we see Venus for 276 days before it disappears again, only for 13 days, 14 days, whatever the fuck it is. I don't want to get that incorrect, because, well, you know, plays a big part. All right, so let's do this again. Let's start them off at the same place. There you go. They're both, because this is what we've been told. All the planets will go out there, remember, to Pluto. And that thing there keeps them all in a line and keeps them all gravity, you know, doing all this shit gravity does. It's fucking amazing. No one knows what it is, but it's fucking amazing. Visible thing. Or they're just...
As a Pluto actually doesn't stay exactly in line. It's got a slightly different orbital plane than the rest of us, and as well as that's not in scale at all. Put your object into scale and then see how that works. But Freddo can't do that, nor would he ever want to do that, because it'd falsify his whole narrative. Gravity has been proven and demonstrated, not a problem. There's so many different experiments to prove that gravity works. Freddo, if you want to get into stuff like gravity, then explain how the orbit of the moons of Jupiter, how they work, how we can see them different times, how we can change it. I got observations where I can see the moons of Jupiter and how they've changed positions. So explain that to me, please, as well as like the moons of like Saturn, or stuff like the just recently, I think Red's Rhetoric did a video where he showed the transit of one of the moons going across Saturn. So explain that, but I know you can't. And then gravity is quite easy. It's mass attracting mass, bending and mass, and it's, if you want to get into like Newtonian, or you want to get into general relativity, then we're talking about the bending gravity. It's mass bending space time, in which then the larger the mass, the more bending of space time it is, and then you have every object has some sort of amount of bending of space-time, just mass. Obviously, the larger the mass, the more bending of space-time, the more attraction it has. Easy, look it up. One thing I always ask flat earthers, you want to explain something and you don't think gravity exists, explain the pound replica experiment and how that works. And I know Freddo and every other flat earther have always run away from that because they can't. But yeah, but let's just get back to Freddo and his derp.
It's attached to the firmament and they just go around us every 12 hours. But let's go with that.
Once again, Freddo, if you want to explain the firmament, then explain to me like how the phases of Venus works, the phases of Mercury work, how the moons of Jupiter work, how come we can see the different moons of Jupiter, transit on the moons going transiting across Jupiter, how the moon is going behind Jupiter. Explain that, and also how high is the firmament, where is the firmament? Can you explain it to me? And why is everything that seems to be moving into different places? Even Venus itself, you've fully admitted, seems to orbit around the sun, and you can see at different points around the sun. So how does that work with the firmament? Because if they're fixed in the firmament, then how are they moving? That's weird, isn't it? As well as like there's something called like the transit of Venus across the sun. So explain to me how we can observe Venus transiting across the sun if they're fixed in the firmament. Is Venus does it go around the sun? Is it before the sun? Is it behind the sun? How does that work? Oh no, you can't explain that, can you? So yeah, there's so many things your firmament doesn't explain because it's magical and it's made up. It's fantasy, so you can enjoy your fantasy world all you like, but I'll just go with the facts and evidence. Thank you very much.
Okay, so 276 days I don't think we do see Venus for, right? So how is that possible if we both start that orbits Venus at 225. All right, so let's do for Venus, let's halve it, 112. There you go, 112, it's on the other side, right, Venus, okay? Let's do 112 for us, about there. Not quite, well, it'd be over a quarter, so I'll give you over a quarter, right? So over a quarter, okay? So let's do another 80 days, so it's about here, all right? Let's do 80 days for Venus. So that's quite 200, so there it is there, right? So that's it, that's 200, that's like 100 and what's half 365, it's like 183 days, 183 days, right? That is, because it's halfway, right? This in 183 is nearly there, right? Because it's nearly done, it's 225, right? So let's do it at 276, right? So there's its 225, back to normal, right? And there's its other 30 days. How? Remember, this isn't to scale. How?
No, it really isn't to scale. And that's Freddo's problem right there, or at least one of them. He's got lots of problems. And homophobia is actually one of them. But let's just ignore all that for now. Now, the only problem is what he has here is that Earth is measured 93 million miles from the sun, right? We've measured this using radar, using transit of Venus, which you still have to explain how the transit of Venus can work if the Venus is in the dome and the sun's below it. Don't know. I don't need to explain that, right? That completely falsifies everything there. But we've used, we have solar radar, solar probes there. We got the Parker space probe. We have the ESA solar probe there. We've used many different ways of measuring distance to the sun. You can even use it just by having, two people, measuring Eratosthenes experiment. Sam and Dan did this, easy, right? Now, 93 million miles between us and the sun, right? Venus is 67 million miles from the sun. So Venus is 3/4 of the way from the sun to the earth, right? So the Venus is closer to us than it is to the sun. So how that I now have the sun further out, bring Earth further out from the sun, and then bring Venus 3/4 of the way to the earth, right? About 3/4 of the way. I think it's like 0.73 astronomical units, right? So pretty close. So maybe have it just tiny bit under 3/4 of the way. And now let's do this whole demonstration. And you'll probably notice that something really, really weird and strange is the fact is we can see Venus, and we can see it sometimes in the morning, as at night. Sometimes we're going to see it in the morning. Sometimes we're going to see it at night. But it all works out perfectly fine. And this is why we get the different phases of Venus, kind of like how the phases of the moon, because Venus is closer in. Now we get the same thing with Mercury. You get phases. Mercury has different phases, where Mercury goes around faster and is closer to the sun. So sometimes it's harder to see it. You can only see it when it's really a few different points, because it's so much closer. But Venus is 3/4 of the way, or a tiny bit less, between us and the sun. It's actually closer to us than it is to the sun. So that's why you're probably making this demonstration and having them so close together. They're stupid. You actually have that olive and the and your lime there too far apart from each other, and obviously they're all too close to the sun. But those two are actually too far apart. Bring the olive closer to the lime, and then have your orbits. And notice that something kind of changes a bit. I know this is really hard. I know like 5 minutes of research would have helped you out, but well, yeah. So maybe start being honest. Might help. I know, the Great Emu War messed you up, and that emo who keeps bumping his Cleoca against your wife, and it makes you really jealous because you're so bitter because you lost to a bunch of giant chickens. But mate, it's gonna get over it sometime.
How are you seeing Venus in the morning and night? Here you go. If you turn, you can't see it in the morning at all. You definitely can't see it at night. And that's not even 225 days. Like, and we're not seeing it. But you surely, let's 30, 40 seconds to do this. Let's just go back to here, right? Let's go back to the start. If you're coming around in the morning, once again, you're seeing it in the morning. You can't see it at night. When it does its 180 days and you're here, when you're coming around, you can't even see it in the morning. And you surely can't see it at night. And that's only 180 days. Stop just believing what you're told. Go out there. I bet you in December, I'm going to check. I'm going to see if I can see it on December 28th, 29th. I'm going to see it. But it can't go, we can't visually see it for 276 days. It can't be done. Common sense.
And once again, Freddo was completely wrong. It's about 50 days when Venus goes behind the sun, and about 8 days when Venus goes in front of the sun. And obviously, depending on where it is, its orbit, we are in our orbit. Sometimes it's a little bit above or below. So depending on where you are. But yeah, and we can see Venus for both daytime and night, like just before sunrise and after sunset, for about a year. So 584 days, or 1 year, 7 months.
Sense. Fuck me. Concentrate.
Well, it seems I've triggered Freddo a little bit, and he's done a response video, as you can see here. So let's go through this because, well, he's completely wrong on pretty much everything he said here. And, well, I think he's still kind of trying to deceive us a little bit, because he pointed out seeing the sun rise somewhere, but yet the sun was straight above him. And then, you notice that middle rail there he has on there, and then he's using a compass, like just a cheap eBay or Amazon compass. This compass is on the end have a little magnet, and that's what is drawn to the magnetic pole of the Earth for the north and southern poles. Follows magnetic lines. Now, why is he holding it near a nice metal object that could actually have, be attracting that magnet a little bit? Because when I was taught orienteering, I was taught to not hold your magnet on your compass close to like your chest, like hold it there, or you have a zipper, or down low you have a belt buckle and stuff, because it could actually throw off the orientation of the magnet a little bit. So I think Freddo's still being a little bit disingenuous with that, still trying to deceive, so you can try to kind of formulate his narrative. Also, if you notice his previous videos, he never actually shows the sun rising. He shows that the sun after it's already rose for a bit and it's up in the air. So I think he knows which way the sun actually does rise, but he's just trying to push a false narrative. Maybe he's contrarian, I don't know, but he's definitely a liar, that's for sure. But let's check out this video here. I'm going to show you using a model that actually is in scale, because Freddo's model isn't in scale. And I'm going to show how Venus can be seen. Now, obviously, I'm doing it for the northern hemisphere, but if you can see it from Earth, you can see it from Earth. Earth's definitely a globe, and we can see it. He's claiming we cannot see Venus at all. He's not saying he can't see Venus. He's saying we can't see Venus. And as well as you mentioned something about March 15th, I'm going to look back actually on when I took my video, on my picture, because it might have been around the 15th, but it's right around that time. Fingers crossed it is actually the 15th, because I'm going to absolutely freaking wreck him then, but whatever. Let's go with this. I'll show you, I'm using Stellarium, because Stellarium uses the globe as a model, and for observations of the celestial objects. I've used Stellarium, been using it for a couple years now, doing astrophotography. It's never let me down. Every single time it'll tell me where the celestial object is going to be, what time it's going to rise, what time it's going to set, and where it's going to be in the night sky. It's always worked. And especially for Venus, if you don't believe me, well then look at my video where I took a picture of Venus, and I used Stellarium to tell me where Venus is going to be, how high it's going to be, and what time it's going to be in the night sky. And it worked. And it was just after sunset when I took my picture. But let's have a look and see. Right, so we're going to start with observation of Venus. We're going to start the 24th of June 2027, and start at night. Now, this is going to be all nighttime observations. It runs the days here. So there's the sun. You can see Venus still above the horizon. Now, this is from my location in the UK. As you can see here, I'm going to adjust to see if we can have the sun below the horizon, and I'm going to run through the days. Now, as you can see, all through these days, that Venus is still above the horizon and the sun has set, which means Venus is visible. So we are, we're into August 2024, sun setting. Sun there, and it's just set. Venus is still above the horizon, which is still visible. Go down there, going to adjust again. The sun's just setting. Venus is still above the horizon, well above the horizon. There we are. Set again here. So as we're running through these days and running through the months, as you can see, we are definitely still able to see Venus through all these days. Here we are, sunset there again. Venus is still above the horizon, still 100% visible. There, running through there, the Milky Way moving past, pretty cool. Now we're into oh, look at that! Wow, look at that! Where it goes up in December, holy, right up there. Now this is all evening times. If it can be seen in the evening. And look at that! Now we're into February 2025. Look at that, Venus way up there. Oh, look how high it is. This is all observable right into March. Oh, look at that, March 20th. Oh crap, look at that, way past where you said it had to look. Still, oh, and it's just, okay, now it's gone there to the 24th. So it's just around there. So we couldn't see it, now it's gone below. All right, cool. Now let's check and see what in the mornings can be seen. So we're going to start on 2025, March 2025 here. And you can clearly see here that Venus was more than able to be seen up and above the horizon. Look at that, still up there. Going to April, still see it. Let's see the sun there, still above the horizon. To May, halfway through May, still way up there. Look at that. Into June. Almost there we are. There's June. Cause still clearly see it into July. Look at that. Wow, look at all this year. Venus is right up there, not a problem. Could see it all the time. And now we're getting into August here. Change a little bit here. Sun's still below the horizon. There's the moon. Sun's still below the horizon. Right. I went to October. Look at that. I can still see it even now. If I didn't have clouds, I'd see it right now. And now we're getting into end of October. Sun's still below the horizon. Venus is still above. Into November. Now it's starting to come close there again. Now this is all in the mornings, remember, see it in the morning. November 22nd, still above, you'd still be able to see it. It'd be kind of hard with the glare, but and we're getting down to just beginning of December, getting close there. So now for a few days we're not going to see it, and then you'll see it again. So hey, that's probably getting too close now, too below the horizon. So December 10th, and we can confirm this coming up into December here. And just for shits and giggles, let's do the evenings again. I'm going to start back in 2022, just near the end. I can see Venus just above the horizon here. I'll fine tune a few things here on it. And here we are going through the days. As you can see, Venus is above the horizon, sun is just setting, perfectly seen. This is December 2022. And as you can clearly see here, we'll run through the days more. I'm just going to kind of fine tune. So you can see here, because it doesn't really matter, the time, as long as the Venus can be seen above the horizon, then we can see it. And here we are now, going to 2023. And this is all modeled out on the globe using the correct distances for Venus, correct distances to the moon, and the movements of the celestial bodies and how they move and where they're going to be in the night sky. And this only works because the Earth is 100% a globe, and we are orbiting around the sun and all the planets, other planets are orbiting around the sun too. Just using all of the different orbits and everything that we know for a fact are 100% true, and this is why we can make predictions or look at the past, but we can also look at the future. As you can see here, not a problem. Venus way up in there, can be seen really clearly in the night sky. Not a problem at all. And if you notice that Venus actually does a slight dilemma as well, and that's due to the actual tilt of the Earth as the Earth orbits around the Sun. That creates an dilemma, and that's why you get Venus doing a very similar pattern as the Sun does. So you can see going around, and it's going to come back down. And this is all now we're down to 2023 here, so July 2023. As you can see here, this is completely falsifying everything Freddo said and absolutely crushing him and his stupid little olive with a lime and his basketball. This is actually modeled out using the correct distances and correct observations, as well as making predictions, something he could never do. And so we are here, there. They're getting close to here, which I think I showed this earlier again, but before, but I'm going to show it again. So just in July in 2023, Venus is getting too close now. It's coming down. It's going to line up with the Sun. There we are. Just going to see if different times, if you can kind of get it and just get specific time. You can still see Venus is above the horizon, the Sun is below, so Venus would be possible to be seen. And I'm just kind of fine-tuning a little bit here on the times. But this is 100% possible. So there's Venus and the Sun. Now it would be kind of hard to see with how this helps. There's clearly would be, I know it's showing here it's actually above the horizon, but there's a tree there because it's the animation of the app. But that wouldn't mean anything. Now we go to the evening here. There we are. Just after sunset. We can see, I'll still see Venus. This is behind the trees that they put on this app here, but this is still above the horizon. You can see where the horizon line is. So it wouldn't be hard to see if it wasn't for the pretty trees that they put in this, but still, I see they're showing where the ground is, and they're showing that the sun's just above that. It's down to 2024 into August, and we can see how the Venus is still above the horizon and would be visible and would be seen from our perspective, standing on the ground, and we could use a telescope or binoculars or a camera to see it, and the Sun would just be below the horizon we just set. And this completely falsifies a flat Earth narrative, claiming the firmament and stuff like that, but yeah, the movements of Venus and all the planets and stuff completely destroys the notion of a firmament or some sort of magical dome that nobody's able to see or can't prove it's there, or even let's say like orbits of moons and stuff around the planets and stuff, which are easily observed with even just your backyard telescope. I myself have observed the orbits of the moons around Jupiter and Saturn. And if I had dark skies, I could probably even do Phobos around like Mars or something. So as you can see here, just going through the days, I was showing how Freddo's claims are completely falsified by using a model that we know that works, that's correct, that has all the orbits accounted for, and observations that people use this app all the time, all around the globe, and can and use it to predict things like the ISS transits, ISS going over certain points, or to predict where and when to see different celestial objects, to go out with their telescopes and to take observations. And this, I have personally used this myself, and I know for a fact this does work and is accurate, highly accurate. So, flat Earth falsified, globe 100% confirmed, because Stellarium uses the globe to model all this stuff out and uses the orbits of the planets. So we definitely live in a heliocentric globe, and we can prove it by simply just looking at this and modeling it out and making predictions. Something the flat Earth can never ever do, never has been able to do, and is easily falsified whenever they do try to do that, and it fails 100% of the time. That's one thing the flat earth can predict, is that it will fail to make any predictions. There we are. Once again, we're into February 2025, and I'm going to go over to where like Freddo says that we couldn't have seen it. I'll go into March, but we can see March past that, and even right into 18th, right up until even past that. Here we are, 15th, and 16th, and 17th, and 18th, 19th, oh, and 20th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 21st. Oh no, Freddo, oh dear me. Enjoy. Bye bye.
After night, Freddo clings to his flat fight. The shadows cast the proof. He won't stand beneath the truth. The sun's the clock, the planets spin. Freddo's world is.
So yeah, that's about it. I just falsified Freddo in a stupid example he did. The fact is, he just simply doesn't understand the orbit of Venus, or the distances, or pretty much anything about the model. In fact, he even admits he doesn't want to use or rely on science, because science is scary to Freddo. He's just not that smart. But yeah, that's it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click the like button if you like this video. Click the thumbs up. Comment if you want to comment. I look forward to reading the comments. And yeah, remember people, Earth stiff the globe. Space is real. But don't forget, stay curious. I will see you again. Thanks for watching.
And by the way, all those rumors on the internet are fake. I'm not flat. I'm not hollow on the inside, and there's definitely no reptilians inside of me!